Hi, for my presentation I will be doing it on Shirin Neshat. Shirin Neshat was born in 1957 and she is currently 69 years of age. She was born in Qazvin, Iran, but she is currently based in New York City where she continues to create. She is known for her work mostly in photography as well as visual arts, including film. Themes that are often found in her work include those of gender roles in Islamic culture, the ideas of exile, politics, issues between the West and Iran, and she also touches on a lot of opposing ideas of beauty and violence versus those of expression and silence. The first source is the Art Basel stories on Shirin Neshat on art, exile, and the price of speaking out. This is done in an interview format by Kimberly Bradley. It discusses how highly political her work is and how she aims to balance those different ideas of beauty and violence, but through more ambiguous messages. An example of this would be the Women of Allah series, which is a series of photographs that are deeply emotional and picture different Middle Eastern women in their cultural veils, showing beauty but also being juxtaposed by that of violence, presenting them holding guns. She often talks about, how art shouldn't be a way to tell people exactly what to think, but instead to raise questions and let viewers form their own interpretations on the work. The next source is the Gladstone Gallery. It provides an overview of different projects and recognizes a lot of her awarded exhibitions and installations. The series that are mentioned include Women of Allah, which was previously shown in a photography format, and Land of Dreams, which is a photography and film formatted installation, which can be seen with the images to the right. The show consists of lots of these themes that she carries across all of her work, which follow gender, identity, and different cultural conflicts. The next source is the National Museum of Women in the Arts. The source focuses a lot on how leaving Iran and later returning and having her experiences in the West versus Iran deeply affected her work. One of the more important series that was mentioned was Women of Allah, which was previously shown. It mainly looks a lot at different gender and women's roles in the culture of Iran and presents women with lots of themes of power and complexity through the beauty and violence, as well as showing different Iranian texts, and it also discusses more on the meaning of the veil as something of religious freedom versus that of oppression. The next source is Shirin Neshat, Born on Fire, and that one is from the Parish Art Museum. It references multiple of her series, some examples being the Book of Kings and the Fury, Book of Kings being pictured at the bottom right, and the Fury being pictured right above it to the right. This one follows a lot of her common themes of politics and exile as well as identity, and uses lots of multimedia to present this. She combines lots of photography, film, and music and creates a very layered experience that is very political and personal. The Broad Museum Profile is the last source. It discusses lots of issues of oppression with exile and identity. These examples being the Rapture and Possessed. The Rapture is at the bottom, shown in different figures of men and women on two different sides, and the women being out and free, and the men having their turn at kind of being confined and put in certain spaces. A lot of this work uses very visual profiles and lots of narratives to create this symbolic and different controls between like men and women's freedom. And the Rapture is a very psychological piece. It definitely leaves a lot up to interpretation and makes the viewer question exactly like what's happening in the image. I found Neshat's work very interesting because she uses a lot of symbolism instead of being direct, and even with her experiences, they're very different from mine, and I can relate to how she explores identity and emotion despite those differences. Her work clearly expresses complicated ideas and doesn't really explain everything, which makes it more powerful because it's up to the interpretation of the viewer. Here are the sources.